Have you ever looked at someone with diabetes and thought, they seem perfectly fine? The frightening truth is, many people with diabetes feel fine right up until the day their body begins sending signals they can no longer ignore. And by then, some of the damage may have been quietly building for years. The most shocking part? It often isn't caused by eating one slice of cake or missing one walk. It's the small mistakes, the hidden warning signs, and the everyday habits that almost no one talks about. Millions of people discover these truths only after they've lost feeling in their feet, their eyesight begins to change, or simple activities like climbing the stairs or taking an evening walk become much harder than they used to be. But here's the good news. Many of these problems don't happen overnight. In many cases, your body whispers long before it screams. The challenge is knowing what those whispers mean. Today, I'm going to share the lessons that countless people wish they had learned years earlier, not to scare you, but to help you protect your health while you still can. Some of what you're about to hear may challenge what you've always believed about diabetes. And one simple truth near the end of this video could completely change the way you think about managing it every single day. So don't click away, because the next few minutes could help you avoid the mistake that far too many people only recognize when it's already too late. One of the biggest myths about diabetes is that you'll always know when something is wrong. You won't. In fact, that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Many people spend months, or even years, believing they are doing reasonably well simply because they don't feel seriously ill. They go to work, look after the grandchildren, enjoy a cup of tea in the evening, and carry on with life as normal. Then something unexpected happens. Perhaps they notice a small cut on their foot that doesn't seem to heal. Or they find themselves needing brighter light just to read the morning newspaper. Maybe climbing the apartment stairs suddenly feels more exhausting than it did a few months ago. Each problem seems unrelated. Each one is easy to dismiss. But together, they can tell a very different story. Here's what surprises many people. Diabetes rarely asks for attention with loud alarms. It prefers whispers. And whispers are easy to ignore. A little thirst. A little fatigue. A little numbness. A little blurry vision. The human brain has an incredible ability to adapt. When changes happen slowly, we stop noticing them. What once felt unusual gradually becomes our new normal. That's why so many people say the same heartbreaking sentence. I wish I'd taken it seriously sooner. But there's another truth that almost nobody talks about. Some people become so focused on one number, their blood sugar reading, that they overlook everything else. Now, don't misunderstand me. Keeping your blood sugar in a healthy range is incredibly important. But diabetes affects much more than a single number on a meter. It influences your blood vessels, your nerves, your eyes, your kidneys, your heart, and even the way your body heals itself. Imagine your home had a tiny water leak hidden inside the walls. One day doesn't matter. Neither does 1 week. But month after month, that slow leak quietly weakens the structure until one morning you notice a crack that seemed to appear out of nowhere. The crack wasn't sudden. It was simply the first thing you could see. Diabetes often works in a similar way. The visible problem is rarely the beginning of the story. And here's a twist that catches many people completely off guard. Some of the people who experience complications weren't ignoring their health at all. They believed they were doing everything right. They avoided sweets. They took their medication. They attended appointments. So what went wrong? The answer is far more subtle than most people realize. Because diabetes isn't only about what you stop eating. It's also about the small daily habits that quietly protect, or slowly strain, your body over months and years. And one of those habits is so common that millions of people repeat it every single day without giving it a second thought. That's where the real story begins. Let's talk about something that catches even careful people by surprise. Many believe diabetes is only a problem when their blood sugar is very high. That sounds logical. But it isn't always true. Some people live for years thinking, my numbers aren't that bad. Yet they still notice something changing. Their hands feel colder. Their balance isn't quite what it used to be. A short walk to the local shops suddenly feels longer. Reading the label on a food package becomes more difficult in the evening. It doesn't seem connected. Until one day, someone points out the pattern. And suddenly, everything makes sense. Here's the twist. Diabetes often doesn't damage one part of the body first. It quietly affects many systems at the same time. Tiny blood vessels. Sensitive nerves. The eyes. The kidneys. The heart. Each one changes so gradually that your brain adjusts without you realizing it. That's why many people say, I didn't notice how much had changed until I looked back. Now imagine two people. They are the same age. Both have diabetes. Both take the medication their doctor prescribed. On paper, they look almost identical. But 5 years later, one remains active, enjoys long walks, and still spends weekends gardening. The other struggles with fatigue, numb feet, and frequent health appointments. What made the difference? Most people assume it was luck. In many cases, it wasn't. It was the dozens of tiny decisions made every single day. And here's where another myth quietly falls apart. Many people think the answer is simply eating less sugar. Of course, reducing added sugar matters. But diabetes doesn't take weekends off. It doesn't pause because yesterday's dinner was healthy. It's influenced by your entire daily routine. How much you move. How well you sleep. How often you stay seated for hours without getting up. Whether you're drinking enough water. Whether stress has become your constant companion. None of these habits seems dramatic. Together, they are powerful. Here's something many people never expect to hear. Sometimes the healthiest choice isn't the hardest one. For example, a gentle walk after a meal, even just around the neighborhood or through your local park, can help your body use glucose more effectively than sitting down straight away. Simple. Free. Yet often overlooked. Another surprise? Sleep. People rarely connect poor sleep with diabetes. But night after night of broken sleep can make it harder for your body to manage blood sugar and leave you craving foods that don't truly satisfy you. It's a cycle that quietly feeds itself. Then there's stress. Not the kind caused by one difficult day. The kind that lingers for weeks, months, even years. When your body feels constantly under pressure, it releases hormones that can make managing blood sugar more difficult. It's as if your body is preparing for danger that never arrives. And here's the part that many people find hardest to believe. You don't need to make 10 huge changes overnight. In fact, trying to change everything at once often leads to giving up completely. The people who succeed over the long term usually do something much less dramatic. They improve one small habit. Then another. Then another. Months later, those tiny choices have become a completely different lifestyle. That's the quiet power of consistency. Not perfection. Consistency. Because diabetes doesn't usually change your life in a single day. And protecting your health rarely happens in a single day either. It happens through small choices that seem almost insignificant. Until one morning, you realize you're walking farther, sleeping better, feeling steadier, and living the life you were afraid you might lose. There's one final truth about diabetes that many people don't discover until life forces them to. And once they understand it, they often say the same thing. I wish someone had told me this years ago. The truth is this. Diabetes is not just about living longer. It's about living better. There's a difference. A very big difference. Many people become so focused on avoiding complications that they forget what they are really trying to protect. The ability to walk through the neighborhood without stopping every few minutes. To play with their grandchildren without feeling exhausted. To enjoy a holiday without worrying about every step. To wake up with energy instead of wondering why they feel tired before the day has even begun. Those are the things that truly matter. And here's the twist. Most of those moments aren't lost all at once. They are given away little by little. One skipped walk. One ignored symptom. One postponed appointment. One more month of saying, "I'll deal with it later." Later has a way of arriving much sooner than we expect. But there's another side to this story. And it's one that deserves just as much attention. Your body is remarkably resilient. It responds to care. People often believe that once they have diabetes, the damage is inevitable. That isn't true. While diabetes is a serious condition and complications can occur, many people maintain a healthy, active life for years by working with their healthcare team and staying consistent with healthy habits. That's an important distinction. It's not about finding a miracle cure. It's about giving your body its best chance, every single day. Here's something that surprises many people. The biggest victories are rarely dramatic. They are almost invisible. Choosing water instead of a sugary drink. Taking a 15-minute walk after dinner. Checking your feet before bed instead of assuming everything is fine. Keeping regular appointments, even when you feel well. Getting enough sleep instead of treating exhaustion as normal. These don't make headlines. But over months and years, they can make an extraordinary difference. Think of your health like a savings account. Every healthy choice is a small deposit. You may not notice the balance changing today. You may not notice it next week. But one day, you'll be grateful those deposits were there when you needed them most. And here's one last thought that stays with me. Many people spend years wishing they could go back and speak to their younger self. To warn them. To encourage them. To tell them not to ignore the small signs. The truth is, you don't have to travel back in time. You only have to make the next good decision. Because the future version of you is being shaped by what you choose today. Not by yesterday's mistakes. Not by guilt. Not by fear. But by the quiet decisions you make after this moment. If this video has helped you see diabetes in a different light, I hope it leaves you with something more valuable than worry. I hope it leaves you with clarity. Because knowledge isn't powerful when it's simply heard. It's powerful when it's used. And sometimes, the most important truth about diabetes isn't learned too late. Sometimes, it's learned at exactly the right time.